And what is going on, my fellow people of Somewhat Supernatural? Scuba Steve here, bringing you episode 7 of Somewhat Supernatural. And today we will be discussing ghosts of my great state of Texas. All right. So, Texas is a huge state and we have tons of hauntings. And, living in South Texas, we have a lot of urban legends and we have a lot of, just things that we've been told and hauntings that we've been told about. So I thought, what better way to do episode 7 than to talk about, what I do, every so often when I go on my paranormal investigations with my team. We're going to talk about, ghosts of the state, of Texas. So first, I want to bring on one of my co-hosts, once again making his return from last week. Please help me in welcoming Just Joe. How's it going, brother? You doing good?
How you doing, man? Doing great, man. Doing great.
That's good, man. And also my second co-host and also a member of Darkseid Paranormal, the one, the only, the ugly, my brother from another mother, Big Mike. How's it going, brother?
So, man, chilling.
Oh, we already got some action in the chat. What's going on, Johnny D? How you doing, man? So, like I was telling everybody out there, today we are going to be discussing ghosts of Texas. Now, what better thing would we know about than ghosts of Texas? Because that's what we deal with when we do our investigations. But before we jump into that, what's going on, fellas? Joe, what's new with you, man?
Hey, not much. Still recovering from Yorktown Memorial Hospital. Nothing much has been going on. I still need to go through the footage of that. Just got the external hard drive to save everything on, and not right now. It's just sifting through the footage, trying to get some evidence to put up on our pages. That's about it.
Cool. Mike?
Same thing. I mean, still recovering from Yorktown. Got a lot of shit off my body cam that I've been sharing with y'all, but we're still like analyzing and putting through. It records in little segments on my body cam, so I have to go through each individual clip. And the more shit I find on one, it makes me analyze the second one even that much more. So it's going.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't think people understand that this investigation took a lot out of us. Like it wasn't just going into a building, and I mean, it drained us. By 4:30, we were done. You know what I mean? And
oh yeah,
how many investigations have we gone on where we're like, oh, we can go till the sun comes up, or even just chilling at home. You've stayed up till the sun comes up. This was different, man. There was definitely an entity there, or entities, multiple entities that drained us of, all kinds of energy, man. Because I'm only speaking for myself. But after I got scratched, I was done. And it wasn't because I was mentally done. I wanted to keep going. But physically, when we went back to base camp and I sat there, like I couldn't do anything else. You know what I mean? Like I was just done.
You fell asleep holding your rig like this, and you just were dozing off. And I was like, oh, man.
Somebody just put best supernatural show on the network. We're the only supernatural show on Project Louder, I think. So
we're the best by default.
The best of the best. Yeah, buddy.
Still the best.
Yeah. So we're gonna go ahead and kick off. Like I said, Mike, I didn't get a chance to get you the show notes, man. But we're just gonna talk about, different regions of Texas, because Texas is a huge state. So we have tons and tons and tons of hauntings and areas that are haunted. So we're going to start off with hauntings of East Texas. We're just going to talk about one main area and then throw out some honorable mentions. Mike, if you know of any of these, feel free to go ahead and give your input, man, because I know that you've been in the paranormal game for a long time also. So, you may have experienced some of these. So we're going to go ahead and start off with East Texas and a place called Bragg Road. Have you guys ever heard of Bragg Road?
Sarasota?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. I've never been there, but I've heard about it.
Okay. So basically, Bragg Road, and this is an article by Pack. It says Native American tribes, including the Alabama, Cashuta, and Caddo, roamed the area hunting. But it was uncharted territory when settlers arrived in the 1830s seeking solitude to hunt and carve out farms. Swampy, dark, and difficult to penetrate. Yeah, it sounds like my ex. It was a destination for people who didn't want to be found. Oil and lumber operations rendered the terrain more accessible, but big thicket but Big Thicket remained plenty dense and mysterious till today. In the heart of the Big Thicket is Hardin County, and in the heart of Hardin County is the infamous Bragg Road, home to countless sightings of the Ghost Road Light, aka the Big Thicket Light, the Saratoga Light, and the Bragg Road Light. Those are all different names for it. And the light appears to nighttime travelers on the road between Saratoga and the defunct village of Bragg Station. Now, when I was doing, when I was looking up the article and stuff for this, I have heard of this, and it is something I would like for us to actually go and investigate, because there are, I mean, man, if you Google any of this stuff, like there's pictures, there's articles, like actual news articles, there's news snippets where they've gone and investigate, or have gone and sent reporters out there to investigate. So this is a very well-known East Texas haunting. So before the current road was built, the Arrow Strait clearing served as a Santa Fe Railroad's branch line built in 1903. From its inception, locals considered the line haunted by Mexican laborers, murdered by a thieving foreman, a deserter shot by Confederate soldiers, a hunter lost forever in the woods, and a decapitated railroad brakeman searching for his head. But all the stories are a common theme: a floating light orb. The road replaced. Hold on, I lost my train of thought. The road replaced the railroad tracks in 1934, but the light remains seen by hundreds of people over the decades. In 1997, Hardin County designated Bragg Road as Ghost Road. So the county actually went and designated this as a legit ghost road.
Nice.
So it's a scenic drive park. It's a pretty road, of the woods in the daytime, but it turns into a spooky spot for supernatural sightings by night. Deep, dark woods, an unexplained light. Sounds like a perfect ghost story, if you ask me. So when I picture this, all I can picture is when we were driving out to Martha Chapel, the way that that the trees were hanging over like that. I mean, it was creepy, But I mean, hell, I wouldn't mind going to see if maybe we can catch one of these lights.
Definitely. I mean, you have tents, right? I mean, you said you had some tents. Yeah. We could even camp out there.
Yeah.
We'd have to find a nice, cool night where we're not, drenched in sweat. But
fuck that.
I mean, we could take a note out of Mike's playbook and just all go sleeveless. We could all do that. So
we could, or if we get the Tahoe, we could keep the AC on in the Tahoe and just camp out in there. Yeah,
true that too. But yeah, man. So I wouldn't mind going to check it out. And when I was looking at these, I was like, this is going to be our list of things to hit up in Texas. You know what I mean? Even if we're going, to one investigation, if it's on the way, hell, we can always stop and try to get some footage of something, even if it's during the daytime, at least, we go check it out.
Yeah. Make a weekend of it. Yeah.
Yeah. So there are some noticeable East Texas mentions that I put on here, just because I didn't want to put way too many things in there from East Texas. So if you are from East Texas and you do know haunting, and I did not put it on here, I apologize. These are just the ones. These were the big ones that I read about. But you're more than welcome to put more on there. That way we can talk about them. The chat is open. The chat is always open. So if you guys want to talk, go ahead and we'll respond to you guys. There's one called The Grove, which is a private home built in Jefferson in 1861. It offers weekend tours. There's a reservation required, with stories about a glowing white figure of the original owner, Minerva Fox Stilley, ghostly victims of the violent Reconstruction era murders known as the Stockade Case, and mysterious wet footprints indoors, odd sounds, and unexplained odors. So I've always wanted to go to Jefferson, Texas. When I first started even wanting to be a paranormal investigator, it was because of stories that I had heard about Jefferson, Texas, because apparently Jefferson, Texas is one of the most haunted towns in the state of Texas. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of.
I've never heard of Jefferson. I'm not from Texas. I've been here 15 years now, but yeah, I've never heard of Jefferson. But that place that you just mentioned, The Grove, that sounds intense. That sounds fun.
It's a very small town. It's not too big, and it's surrounded. It's kind of like a swampy area, so it's like surrounded by swamps.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
but there is a lot of history in that town and a lot of negative history, I would say.
Hmm.
And a lot of the hauntings that are said to be there come from those negative things that occurred, you know. So it's definitely one that I would love to do, especially, from time to time when we get up there. It'd be great to go ahead and try to get out there. Another one
Hey,
is,
Scuba,
yeah,
is there anybody in the room with you? Just not being weird.
no way.
So this would be your right shoulder in the direction you're looking. There's like a white door back there.
Uh-huh. That one?
Yeah, while you were talking, there's the door, there's the partition of the door where it meets the desk area.
Right
There
here?
was like a shadow moving back and forth. Yeah, like right there. That's why I stopped and I was looking because I thought maybe somebody walked in the room with you and I was waiting for them to come out. But
Okay, so I haven't really said anything, but I think something followed me back from Yorktown. And like I said the other day, what was it, the day after we had gotten back from Yorktown, I heard tapping in my tub. Oh shit, sorry, Joe. I put you on mute. My bad. My bad. I had heard tapping in my shower, and I thought maybe it was like the upstairs neighbor, but it wasn't the upstairs neighbor because the tapping was literally coming like right next to me, and it was like, and then it would stop because I'd be like, "Hey, stop it, stop your shit," and then it would do it again, and I'm like, "Stop it, stop your shit," and so it just like continuously did it until I got out of the bathroom and it stopped. So I went back in the bathroom like 20 minutes later to go wash my face, and mind you, nobody else is here. It's just me by myself. And then I heard tapping again. And I was like, So either something followed me home or that damn keychain that you gave me that I put on my jacket had something attached to it.
Yeah.
So, well,
I mean, like I said, it was noticeable enough for me to like turn away and just fixate on your door area there. I thought somebody was going to walk in, so I was waiting for them. But
no, man, because the only thing is my patio door is right here and it's closed, and then my bedroom door is right here diagonal to me, and nobody's here. I mean, my son's in his room, but he didn't open the door or anything. You know what I mean? He's got a sound curtain and everything, and then there's nobody over here. But I think, if something did follow me, it's not anything scary. You know what I mean? Because I haven't felt like freaked out or anything. So
Didn't you say like the buttons on your microwave were being pushed?
yes, yeah, the buttons on the microwave were just like randomly going off. Like, I don't know if you guys heard it when I sent you the video, but you could, like, if you play it and you listen to it, you can hear, behind my voice that the buttons are being pushed and nobody was here. And the microwave's never done that before. So there's another one. It says the oldest continuously operating hotel in East Texas, the Excelsior House Hotel in Jefferson, is notorious for sightings of a headless man, a woman in black holding a child, and Diamond Bessie she was murdered by her dude. Director Steven Spielberg told the Dallas Morning News he was spooked while staying there in the 1970s. Have you ever heard of the Excelsior House? Sounds familiar. Like, I feel like I've seen that like on
they've done shows on it.
I was gonna say I feel like I've seen that on like a paranormal show or something.
Mm-hmm.
I've never heard of it. Excelsior sounds familiar.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let this dog out. Hold on.
Thought that was a demon attacking you, Joe.
It was a demon attacking Joe. That he's got to go grab his Bible and pray it out. Oh, Texas Reaper, Ricardo, what's going on, brother? How you doing, man? We've got a Facebook or a YouTube comment right there. Now that we're actually streaming live on a freaking Facebook or YouTube right now.
YouTube, awesome. I'm back.
And Twitch, we are live on Twitch as well. So those were the hauntings that I looked up. Like I said, I didn't get super into detail with it. I just wanted to show, that Texas is huge. So there are, a lot of places that are deemed haunted. So next we're gonna jump over to West Texas. Joe, do you have your show notes? Do you want to take this one?
Where are we headed to?
West Texas.
Oh man, you got these out of order. Hold on.
No, I do not. West Texas was the next one.
No, after the Grove and that,
Well,
I have South Texas.
no, I remember I told you we're moving South Texas, so go on to the next one.
Uh,
We're gonna save South Texas for last, only because, like I said, we have a lot to talk about Yorktown. So Yorktown is my main focus on that one. So we're just gonna we're moving that one to the back.
So we're
What is
talking
that?
West Texas area. We could talk about that hotel in El Paso that recently just came out on Ghost Adventure.
which one is that?
Canseco or something like that. You have your phone in your hand. Check that out real quick. I'm on my phone, or I would do it.
You
Hold
need
on.
a
Cosmico.
You know what?
Cosmico.
I'm gonna give you my goddamn old laptop that I have, which is not even that old. But if you're gonna be on the show every so often, I'm giving you the goddamn laptop so that you can be on a damn laptop at least. The camera on it's good too.
Right.
Maybe we should have our notes in order.
You know what?
The Del
maybe you
Soto?
should. Oh yeah, I think it was the Del Soto Hotel. Wasn't that it?
Dos Soto's one, and then there's a Cosmico also. That's more like towards Marfa. Is that West Texas? It's like mid Texas.
Yeah, somewhere around
Yeah,
there.
I see another haunted Camino.
It's
the-
Mike's.
Mhm.
It's
Camino
Mike's
Hotel.
phone. That's who it is, Johnny D. Mike's on his phone right now, and he's fucking phone's blowing up on vibrate. So it happens. It happens.
Got a lot of notifications, bro.
Oh shit, Brody Kane, all the way from Australia, motherfucker. What's going on, brother?
Howdy honky tonks.
Howdy, honky tonks. All right, so you want to take West Texas?
Yeah, sure. We'll hit a few notes on here. Okay, we got the Plaza Theater Performing Arts Center. Dan Klepper.
Yeah, that was
I don't know who
the
that is.
no, that's the person
that was
who did the article.
who
Yeah.
wrote the article.
Yeah.
Okay. El Paso Plaza Theater opened as an opulent movie theater palace in 1930, operating for 55 years before shutting down in 1985. Before we keep going, there's supposedly an old movie theater downtown here in Corpus that I was
Mhm.
just told about the other day.
Yeah, the center theater.
Yeah.
Have you guys heard any stories about that?
Oh yeah, there's tons of stories. But the thing is I've never been in there.
No, and
Yeah,
then
I didn't even know.
a lot of people they'll send us ideas of like y'all should check out this school or y'all should check out this and blah blah blah, and that's cool and all. Like I appreciate that. I would like more input, but then at the same time, if these places aren't able to be legally accessed, we can't just go in there. You know what I mean? Like,
And I think that's what people don't get is they think that, oh, these guys are ghost hunters. You know, they have you guys done this. They think we're just gonna go and like just walk in this, you know, like the courthouse. Could we investigate the courthouse? Yeah.
fuck yeah.
Are we going to? Probably not, because it's not legal. We want to do things legally because we don't want to give our profession, I guess you would say, a bad name, because there's a lot of people that give our profession a bad name because they don't give a shit. They'll go wherever they want to go. They're gonna, you know, they don't care what the laws are. We want to be respectful not only of the laws but of the spirits that are there, you know. And so if we can get in there legally, we'll get in there legally, you know. But if there's no way for us to get in there, then hey, I mean, there's nothing we can do about it, you know. I would love to do the center theater because I've seen tons and tons of pictures. If we can get in there legally, we'll get in, you know.
I've emailed them and the Ritz before many times, and I've never gotten a response. So if y'all are watching Ritz and center theater people, or you know these people, let them know. I've reached out to them a couple of times, but like I said, we're not going to just go kick in the door somewhere and be like, let's get it.
Yeah, no, and we just. And we don't want to bring bad publicity to anybody, you know what I mean? But if these places are haunted and do have some kind of paranormal activity going on, we want to know, you know. If you don't want us to put it out, we won't put it out there, you know, because we've done investigations where we didn't put anything out about it because we're being respectful of the area that we were at. You know what I mean? So But yeah, so if you are watching, like Mike said, anybody from the Center Theater and the Ritz, we are very interested in doing an investigation on your property, and we will not charge anything. We will do it for free. We'll sign waivers. We're down. We are down. That's how.
Let's do it.
Also, those of you that are watching, we are looking for a secretary for Darkseid Paranormal.
A volunteer secretary.
So basically, your job would be to help us book investigations. There's no guarantee that you will go on investigations with us at first. Will we take you on investigations eventually? Yes, but you have to prove yourself, So we are looking for someone to jump on and be a part of the team behind the scenes. You'll basically talk to people. You will get, good phone numbers for investigations and whatnot. You will get, locations that need to be found. You'll talk to the people for us, book them for us. That way they know that we are a legit group. So if you are interested, and it would help if you're local in Corpus, because so if you are interested, let us know and shoot us a message on the Darkseid Paranormal Facebook page, and we will set up a Zoom interview with you. And like I said, we're not going to take you right away on investigations. But we do want somebody to join the team. Male, female, doesn't matter. We just want somebody who is going to assist us with booking these events. You're basically going to be our oracle for the team. So you're going to be our go-to person. That was something that we had discussed. So we'll be posting more details on the page later on. But this is just a heads up to those of you that are watching tonight that may be interested.
Public service announcement.
Public service announcement.
Yes, and if you get us into some good places, you're almost guaranteed to go on one of these good places with us. I mean,
oh yeah,
we're trying to get into some high, I don't want to say high price places, but some notoriety places that are well known.
Yeah, places with notoriety. That would
Definitely.
be. So we moving on, jumping back into the topic at hand. We're talking about the Plaza Theater Performing Arts Center in El Paso.
Oh yes, it says the plaza has a bunch of creepy tales. Feature all the usual suspects: drifting woman in white, materializing man in black, vanishing child bouncing a ball. Like most ghost stories, the variancy lies in retelling rather than reoccurring. I don't know about you guys. I mean, I've heard a lot of stuff with the floating women in white throughout various places.
Yep.
Obviously, a materializing black shadow as a man, common, but a vanishing child bouncing a ball, I've never heard of.
Well, I mean,
that's creepy.
We've heard of children ghosts, you know what I mean? And there's always some kind of like physical activity with the ball, you know what I mean? But I've never heard of one that like manifests its own ghost ball and is,
ball and bouncing it and then vanishes.
Yeah, but you're right. You're right about there being a lot of ladies in white, men in black type hauntings, Yeah,
it's just to me, that's one of the most common things when I hear about a place that's haunted. A woman in white is usually one of the first things I hear, or black shadowy figure.
That's exactly right, Ricardo. We are looking for a Janine. Exactly what we're looking for.
Yes. Okay, let's move on a little bit here. Okay, a lot of the stuff that also occurs there: orbs, lights, shadows, physical manipulation of electrical components. Flipping light switches on and off, draining batteries. Objects moving independently, sounds without sources, manifestations such as touch, smell, temperature changes. Together, this suggests a more dynamic and more dynamic ghost story, what you might call a real haunting. That's pretty much it on it. It says intelligent people don't believe in ghosts. exclaimed a 90-year-old Charles Russell, the plaza manager from 1940 to 1951, during his interview in 2006, or commemorating the reopening. While I consider myself to be intelligent, if you haven't spent the night in the Plaza Theater, you might change your mind. So even the guy who owned it considers himself very intelligent, but if you stay the night there, you'll probably start believing in ghosts.
You know, and
Mhm.
and I feel like that's half of the I mean, but you know, it's like not every time you stay somewhere and not every time you do an investigation do you get activity, you know, and
Mhm.
that's the frustrating part is I wish that every single, you know, investigation that we went on, we got some type of activity, which for the most part we have. But then there's been times where we're just kind of sitting
Yeah.
there in the dark and it's like, okay, something.
Yeah, even like the Lexington. I mean, we got some stuff, but for the stories and the sheer size of the place and the history, I expected a lot more. Granted, there was probably a lot of outside, noise contamination being there's lots of groups of people there. That's another place I would love to talk to. What's his name? Chief Bill or whatever his name
Oh
is.
yeah, Bill. Shout out to Bill, wherever Bill is. Shout out.
Yeah. And if we could get in touch with him and see what it would take for just our team to stay the night there, I think we could get a lot more evidence there.
That's like thousands. I guarantee you that is in the thousands.
I don't know.
It starts
I mean,
off at 15.
You think 15?
1,500.
Yeah.
Bro, that's only 500 each, bro. Let's do it.
It's only 500, bro.
It's only 500.
Oh, if TJ goes, it's yeah.
Like I said, it's only 500 each, bro. It's only 500 each.
And they got they got a lot of I mean, because it is a historic site, just like a lot of historic sites, they have a lot of stipulations. One of them being, guides have to be, just like when we went, like you have to have guides. You cannot go by yourself.
Oh well, dude, yeah, naturally,
like
because those hallways are narrow. I can't tell you how many times I bumped my head just walking in there in the dark. You know what I mean, like, and then with all the compartments and stuff, like it's easy to like lose yourself in there and then just fall through like a hole and like break your neck or something. You know what I mean?
and die
And become ghosts.
And become the legend on the Lexington.
They were
and then
here.
like a lot of people I think don't understand also, for those of y'all that are watching, I mean, these big locations that we do, we have to pay for them.
You
So
said they do.
Yeah.
And they're not cheap. You know what I mean?
No,
like,
they're
I mean,
not. They're not.
they're not like, I mean, outrageous, but they're not cheap. So, that also plays into part of what we were talking about last time when people are like, oh, I want to go. And it's like, there is a lot of stuff that goes on behind this besides just showing up and filming. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like one of them being payment. And it's not that I don't want to include you in there, but like one of the things we brought up at one point was, our core group has paid, let's get in there and let us do our thing for something of that grand of a scale, especially like Yorktown. So.
Yeah. And like we say, we will never charge anybody for an investigation. You know what I mean? But we don't mind paying to do an investigation, especially if it's a huge investigation like Yorktown or like the Hallettsville jail or where the hell did we go? In the Nazareth in Mineral Wells. We don't mind paying for things like that, especially if we can get them by ourselves, which is the main goal. Could we go to these haunted tours? Yeah, but really it's not fun to go with those
lame.
so many people. Not that they're lame. And they're not lame, man. We had fun when we went, you know what I mean? And we got some stuff, but
yes,
it's better when it's just your core group by yourself because you get to focus on what you are doing,
Yeah, and plus, if you hear something, our group, we know how each other sound. So if you hear a voice and we're the only ones there, it's hard to dismiss that when, versus where there's large groups of people there and you hear a voice, it could just be another group, 2 rooms away.
But like at the Nazareth, when we were, because we were we went all the way up to the top floor And then everybody left, and we started all walking down, and we were on the second floor or the third floor from the top, and we heard banging above us, and there was nobody up there, nobody at all, because Mike and I were the last ones to walk down, and we made sure we were the last ones to walk down. And so when we got out of the stairwell, we heard boom, boom, and we were like, what the fuck? And we ran up those stairs, trying to go see if anybody was there, and there was nobody there, but we never heard the bangs, and it came from the top floor. And so when we got up there, there's like a wooden step and like a little like a rise right there. I stood up there and I was like, dude, and I jumped, and that's what it was. Like if somebody had jumped on that wood on that little deck area, and that's what that sound was, but there was nobody up there. And we even looked outside to make sure like nobody was like hiding on the roof to try to like freak us out or anything. There was nobody there, man. It was crazy. So
is that a place we could get into, just our group?
Yes.
Yeah,
it's available to rent.
But the drive sucks. It felt like we were never going to fucking get there.
It sucks a lot if you're old.
Fuck you. You didn't have to drive. You were able to fucking sleep the whole way. Shut up.
Switch drivers, fool.
How much is it to rent it out for just us?
To be honest, it's probably in the range of Yorktown.
Okay.
And it's
At
not
least.
How big is it?
It's not
huge.
as big as Yorktown. Yeah, but it's not as big as Yorktown.
It's 7 floors.
But they're not as big as but it's not as big as Yorktown. I don't think it's as big as Yorktown.
As big as size, or as big as in like stories? Like
okay, like to be honest, Yorktown probably has more notoriety and more stories about it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the Nazareth, I mean, it has its tales, it has its stories, and pulling up to it, the size of it is pretty much intimidating because it's just 7 straight floors, and then they do have a basement and shit like that. So I mean, and Yorktown's probably going to win the notoriety war. Yeah,
notoriety wise, Yorktown has it, but I mean, they have a crematorium, or an old crematorium that was out there. I mean, it's creepy, but like I said, we didn't get it by ourselves, so it was like,
yeah.
Oh, well, you know what, Ricardo? Ricardo said he drives all the time. Well, you know what, Ricardo? When we're hiring a driver to drive us, I don't want to say hiring because we're not going to pay you. But when we need a driver, guess what? You got the job, bro. You are our driver.
We'll pay for gas and snacks.
Yeah.
I mean, we're going to be taking my Tahoe, but you're going to drive. I trust you. We're family, so I trust you.
And then, also like we were talking about like going on these, we could go on a group like ghost tour, bullshit, blah, blah, blah. But there is a huge difference between going on a ghost tour and going on a ghost investigation. Yes. Because if I take you on a tour, I'm going to walk you outside of the courthouse and be like, yep, this place is haunted. Here's some fucked up stories. If I take you on an investigation, I'm taking you inside. We're going to be there probably talking to the dark for hours. There's a lot different.
Yeah. And that's what people don't get. People do not get that, because they go on these ghost tours. They're like, oh my God, or they'll tag me in the ghost tours. And I'm like, okay, but you're not going inside any of those places, and they make it seem with their advertising that you are going to be allowed inside these places. And that's not the case. You are not legally allowed inside that courthouse. If you see anything advertised, come inside the Nueces County Court. We're going to do a tour of the Nueces. Yeah, you're going to do a tour of around the fucking building outside, and same thing with Heritage Park. You're going to tour the houses of Heritage Park, but not inside. You're going to walk around the houses and they're going to tell you ghost stories. That's all a ghost tour is. So
the Heritage Park, that's the houses down by American Bank Center.
Yeah.
I want to get into those.
And
honestly, I just heard stories.
There is a way. I forget who you have to contact, but there is a way to get in there. And we could
probably by the Historical Society.
Yeah. So we could probably get in there I think we have to make some kind of donation or something, which is fine. I mean, I don't mind doing that. Yeah, but we got big baller Mike over here with his GameStop stock. So
baby.
He's gonna be funding all of our ghost trips.
Fuck yeah.
So we're going to jump into Central Texas right now, and the A&I Engineer Building, formerly the Animal Industries Building. It's in College Station. In 1959, Roy Simmons, foreman of the meat locker in Texas A&M University's old Animal Industries Building, was performing a routine butchery of bacon on a bacon slab. As he was cutting towards himself, the knife slipped in his hand, stabbing his leg near his groin. Now, this is legit. I found the actual article of this guy's death. The blade cut open his femoral artery. His assistant, who'd stepped for a moment, returned to find him bleeding out on the floor. An ambulance was summoned, but in vain. Sims died before he could be removed from the building. Sims' death was a tragic accident, but it doesn't take much for tragic accidents to take on a more ghostly cast. In the daytime, we never thought much about ghosts or strange occurrences, says Jeffrey Savell, a Texas A&M professor who was an undergrad and a grad student in the 70s. It was the nights when we were in the meat laboratory conducting research, usually by ourselves, that one would hear strange noises or feel like you were not alone. Over the years, Savell says students and custodians working in the bowels of the building have reported invisible footsteps, strange noises, and objects scattered far from their original resting spots. Savell attributes many of the stories to the natural spookiness of an old building and noisy machinery such as the elevator and refrigeration compressors. A series of renovations of the building have turned the site of Sims' accident into an office space. Whether or not Sims roams the hallways, Savell says one thing keeping the memory alive is the lesson offered by his death. It became a precautionary tale each semester as we visited with the students about safety and meat cutting. It gets their attention when you tell them that someone lost their life because of a knife accident. And I always say, when I see a sign posted and I'm like, why the hell would they have a sign posted like no swimming in this pond? Well, somebody had to have gone swimming in there and hurt themselves or something. You know what I mean? So this tale I actually had heard of because my cousin lived in College Station and I don't remember who it was, one of his friends or somebody, their uncle was in college at the time, and we were all outside telling ghost stories or whatever, and he ended up coming up and telling us this exact story. But he said that he experienced something there, that he was there, and that things started going crazy and stuff started moving like off the shelves while he was in there and stuff. So it kind of freaked us out a little bit, but I mean, we were kids when we heard it. So this one is actually something that I've heard of that is legit. I actually died there. And I wanted to make sure that, it was legit and that he actually fucking died there. And he did. He did. You can find his obituary online.
So yeah, I actually read up on this place before we went to Yorktown because I was already looking at other places that I think we should go to. And I read up on that one. Yeah. And yeah, that one sounds fun.
I mean, and that one would be cool, but I think it's still in use as part of the school. Yeah. So it would be very hard because there, it's like Del Mar here, the whole what is like the English department is like extremely fucking haunted or something. And
the performing arts building, I think.
Yeah, and there's like legit videos of this shit, but Del Mar's not gonna let you go in there and fucking investigate. You know what I mean? Which would be cool if anybody knows the Del Mar president. Get us in. Hey, get us in.
Yeah, Mr. Del Mar.
Yeah, Mr. Del Mar, talking to you.
Mr. Mar.
Ricardo said someone stupid had to have done it for a sign warning label to be made. Check the curling iron label. Oh yeah, definitely. So the honorable mentions of Central Texas, where the Driscoll Hotel in Austin. It features some spooky apparitions, including the ghost of a bride who supposedly committed suicide there, and the ghost of a little girl who died on the grand staircase. Large ghost tours are not allowed to visit, but you can always take a peek inside by yourself or book a room for the night. So that with the whole ghost tour thing, you know what I mean? Like, people don't want that kind of notoriety for their business, especially if it's still a business that's, making money.
That's still running.
Yeah. So the University of Texas historic Littlefield home in Austin was the last home of Alice Littlefield, who passed in 1935 and has been reported to play the piano and move objects around. While not open to the public, the exterior can still be visited. I've never heard of any of these places in Austin. I just kind of try to stay away from Austin because, it's Austin.
6th Street.
Yeah, I mean, unless it's 6th Street, but I haven't been to 6th Street in years. I'm too old for 6th Street now.
I'll tell you, the best place I ever ate barbecue is right outside of Austin at Round Rock. No, Driftwood. It's Salt Lake Barbecue.
Salt Lake Barbecue.
Salt Lake, yes, sir.
Ugh.
So the last honorable mention is the drive from Wimberley to Blanco is known as the Devil's Backbone, and contains its own history of phantom riders, undead settlers, as well as gorgeous hill country vistas with a haunted history. So that'd be kind of cool to go and rent like one of the little villas they have out there and just do a ghost hunt. That'd be kind of cool.
That would be pretty neat. They also have I know like little cottages and places you can rent out by the what are they called? The Marva Lights or whatever it's called.
Marfa, Texas.
Yeah, Marfa.
Marfa.
Yeah. They have
teepees.
They do. They have teepees like right across the street and a whole bunch of places you can camp out there.
Ricardo asked, have the battlegrounds of Goliad had been investigated? Not by us, they haven't, but they have been investigated. And I think, is that the place where you can rent the room?
Yeah.
Goliad? You can rent a room there. So, yeah, you can
We'll get investigated.
rent out rooms there. I know a lot of the old, Presidios and stuff, they have like hotel rooms now where you can actually go and stay and stuff, but I don't know about like investigators that go. Ricardo says, I woke up on 6th Street once. Hey, me too. And my head hurt really bad. I was really hungover. So we're gonna move on to North Texas and the Goatman's Bridge. So we've all heard this tale of the Goatman's Bridge, and those of you who haven't, well,
were we supposed to go there, or were we talking about going there?
We were.
Well, okay, so TJ, Mike, and I were gonna go when we went to Mineral Wells, but I'm telling you that drive took forever because I was like, oh, we're supposed to be here at this time, and it honestly felt like we were never gonna get there. Like it was weird, like that drive. It felt like we were going nowhere. Like it was weird. It was fucking weird. And then we kept joking that we're probably not even really driving. We're just gonna wake up in the damn in the hotel. What was the fucking hotel we stayed at?
Emily Morgan.
We stayed in the haunted rooms at the Emily Morgan, and that was the joke. The whole drive was watch. We're gonna close our eyes and wake up in the bed of the Emily Morgan, and none of this fucking happened yet.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys want to give a little? Have any of you ever been to the Goatman's Bridge? Mike, have you ever been?
I've never been there. I mean, the Goatman's Bridge is one of those places that people have investigated, hear stories about all the time, and then on the opposite spectrum of that, there's people that are like, there ain't shit there. Nothing ever happened there. You know what I mean? Like a lot of locations. So I didn't really make it an effort to drive like 7 hours for the possibility, especially during the, the temperatures that I was thinking about going.
So those of you that don't know about the Goatman's Bridge, most residents of Denton are familiar with the tale of the Goatman's Bridge. But if you aren't, legend says a group of Klansmen murdered a beloved black goat farmer on Old Alton Bridge in 1938.
Fucking Joe.
It's not me.
Joe. The black goat farmer was... Hold on. The black goat farmer was endearingly called Goatman by the residents of Denton. The Klansmen crossed the bridge with their headlights off and lynched the Goatman off the side of the bridge. Eventually, the Klansmen decided to go back and kill Goatman's family, and that's where they fucked up. Legend has it that the Goatman spirit lingers in the woods surrounding the bridge, and those who turn off their headlights while crossing the bridge will see Goatman on the other side. The person in this article said that they put it to test. The theory and attempted the urban legend with a friend. Besides a creepy chill, they didn't experience anything. So, like you said, some people say, hey, it's the most haunted shit ever, and some people don't experience shit. You can go at your own risk. Maybe you'll find the Goatman on the other side. Who knows? I know Ghost Adventures went there, didn't they?
Yeah.
Goatman Bridge, and they didn't really find anything. I mean, there was nothing.
They heard stuff in the woods. Spots. I think that's
yeah. So honorable mentions in North Texas, the Baker Hotel. The Baker Hotel has so many hauntings and ghost stories. I didn't list them all just because it was so goddamn many. There was, many famous people went there back in the day, and it's a huge hotel literally in a small ass town. And it just, when we were driving to Mineral Wells, it just blew my mind how we were miles away and all you saw were trees everywhere. And then all of a sudden you see this building just like popping up over the tree line, like out of nowhere. And then we got close. I was like, holy shit, this thing is huge. Now they are renovating it. And I think it's slated to open in 2022 or something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. So once it does open up,
it's not open right now.
No, they are renovating it to reopen it. You can't go on there.
Oh man.
No, you
I was
cannot.
gonna say, man, if we could get in there with nobody there.
Nope. There are signs posted all over. There are cameras everywhere, and it says if you are caught on this property, you will be because it's a historical landmark, so you will be hit with a felony.
No, I was saying if we could get in touch, like since they're not in business,
no,
if we could get in touch with the owners.
The closest thing we're gonna be able to do is once it opens, we go rent a room. It's like the Cecil Hotel. Ain't gonna happen. We can go to the Cecil Hotel, but they ain't gonna close it down for us like they did for Ghost Adventure.
That's what I'm saying. Like, but if they're not losing money by having us there anyway, because they're not renting out anything anyway right now.
Well, yeah, but I think because of the construction that's going on, it's a liability, so they don't want anybody up there messing around.
You know, and then that you kind of lose the allure of having the most haunted building if we go in there and don't see shit, and we're like, this place blows, and then it opens and nobody wants to go. You know, I mean, you got to take that risk too. So, cast in the shadow of the Baker Hotel sits Haunted Hill House, 125 feet away. With direct ties to the hotel, this home once hosted bootleggers, prostitutes, my favorite, and gambling in secret for those who wanted to misbehave with discretion. Over the years, several deaths have occurred here, and the spirits still wander among the halls as if the place is their own. We did talk about going there and renting out the Hill House there in Mineral Wells. While we were there, I don't know that we will ever get to do it. I mean, I wouldn't mind, but like we could make a weekend out of that. Like if we rented the Nazareth and then stayed at the house, or stayed at the house and then stayed at the Nazareth the next night. You know what I mean?
That'd be nice.
Yeah. So there's also Arlington's Lost Cemetery of Infants. I'm going to give a little back story to that one. Back in 1894, Reverend James Tony Upchurch created the Barrachat Industrial Home Redemption and Protection of Erring Girls. Women were taught employable skills that could help them rejoin society. The institute turned into a self-sustaining village that eventually morphed into an orphanage by 1935. The only thing that remains of the land is the well-hidden graveyard, the Lost Cemetery of Infants. Most likely marks the graves of stillbirths and complications that occurred there. Activity reported includes shadowy figures seen darting between, sensation of being watched, the sound of children's voices, and small toys appearing and disappearing off graves. So that's another haunted cemetery story right there.
Another one for our list.
Yes, sir. I mean, and cemeteries are cool. Like, I don't mind doing cemetery investigations. It's just as long as
it's not like Martha Chapel was great, but man, there's too many idiots that kept showing up.
If we could have got that one to ourselves, it would have been great.
That one would have been awesome.
Ricardo said ghost prostitution, so spectral herpes. Look, if Ray can get blown by a ghost in Ghostbusters, I mean, anything is possible. All right.
Hey, Bobby Brown did it too, he says.
Well, I mean, can we really believe anything Bobby Brown says, though?
Yeah, of course we can.
Right. All right, Joe, you want to take the next one? We are moving on to the Gulf Coast.
Man, I gotta scroll around here. Hold on.
Slacking, Rook, slacking.
I was all out of order here. Someone would have organized this better.
Look, this is about chaos. All right, it's about chaos. We don't do organization here. You got the notes. That's all that matters. See, Mike, even if I sent the notes to you, Mike, you wouldn't be able to look at them because you're on your phone. So, you know, it's okay.
Yeah, I have a thing called a memory, not like you old people.
I don't know. You're kind of old too, bro. You're not as young as you used to be.
True.
You're not as
young as you were 3 years ago.
You're not as young as you were when I met you.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Joe, take it away. Right. Bringing it to
all right, we got
Coast.
Yeah, we got the Headley Row. Personally, I've never heard of this one, so this is new to me. Okay, it says it's not surprising that Headley Row is a hotspot for supernatural activity, completed between 1855 and 1858 for shippers and cotton brokers. It was the town's tallest structure during the Civil War. Now, what city was this in? Does it say? Or is it
I
in the
think it
city
was
of?
Galveston.
Oh, okay, yeah, it says further down. Okay.
Yeah, I want to say this was Galveston.
Yeah, I was wondering because if it's the tallest building, okay. Anyway, okay, lost my spot. Tallest structure, okay. The roof doubled as a Confederate lookout for Union ships Galveston and nearby barrier islands. History have been laced with tragedy. It was the site of the bloody Civil War fight, serial epidemics of yellow fever, uh, hurricanes blasted through it regularly. The 1900 storm left 12,000 casualties. It was the worst natural disaster in U.S. history. No wonder Texas writer Brian Woodley from Galveston, an old cemetery with beach attached, the resident ghost of Headley Row represented aspects of Galveston history. Um, so, what storm was that in 1900? It doesn't say which hurricane it was.
I think that's the biggest. What the hell was it called? 1900 hurricane. Oh, look at that! It popped up. First one that popped up in Galveston was drum roll. It just says the Great Galveston Storm came ashore the night of September 8th, 1900, with an estimated strength of a Category 4. It remains the deadliest natural disaster and the worst hurricane in U.S. history. From 6,000 to 12,000 people died on Galveston Island and the mainland. Texas' most advanced city was destroyed. It doesn't say the name though.
Maybe they didn't name them back then.
Probably not, because it's not like they could. It's not like they could fucking predict.
Yeah, they didn't have the news and everything like that, so they probably didn't need to know.
They have the news and we're like, Hurricane fucking Esteban's coming to rip you a new asshole. Run.
Right.
Yeah. It would just get dark and they'd be like, well, is this what the hell's going on here?
Hurricane ass kicker rolled through.
Goddamn, dude, this hurricane caused $35.4 million in damage.
That's a lot back then.
Back then. Wow.
That's insane. I wonder if that would translate to today's market.
I don't know, man. It says the highest wind speed was 145 miles per hour. Wow. This is a Category 4.
Good.
Oh, you want to know what it would be that today is $1.097 billion of damage. That's what it attributes.
Not bad.
Not bad. Shut the hell up.
Okay, let's move on. Okay, there's a Confederate soldier seen on the roof around the building. What building? It does not say.
Just that building.
That's the name. The Headley Road. That's the name of the building.
Oh, okay. I thought it was like row, like Skid Row is like a street.
Oh my god.
That makes sense. Okay, well, there's a Confederate soldier seen on the roof of the building. A bloody teenager, quote, factory worker. I guess it's on the building too, back in the cotton grading days. The lady in white, another lady in white.
Another fucking lady in white.
They're everywhere. White ladies everywhere. The lady in white went around playing, and a little boy and a little girl, thought to be from the storm in 1900. The upper floors house apartments. Now, is that back then, or do they house apartments today? Because that
right now they have apartments and offices now.
Those are some brave souls up there.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, okay. The Headley Market glass ceiling reveals views of stairs and landings and perhaps apparitions. During renovations, workers reported tools mysteriously moving around. Which that was happening in the Smith building downtown. Yeah, they had reports about the tools always being thrown around.
Yep. That video is intense. Like that was a crazy
video. And those are apartment buildings now too. The Smith building.
Yep.
Those are some brave people, unless they just don't know the history. But Okay, Jenkins, a staff member, recalls other spooky experiences. Some years ago, a friend gave her an old photo of Dr. Wilbur from a house on from a house on Church Street that will always be displayed in the shop. When Hurricane Ike, okay, it was in 2008. Was Ike in 2008?
Yeah.
No, I thought that was okay. Katrina was before Ike.
Yeah. I guess. I don't
Okay,
know.
just making sure. I
I
try to
drank
get
a
my
lot
history
and I have
straight.
no idea.
Okay, the photo went undamaged while other things went destroyed. There was 10 feet of water in there. That's insane. So imagine I have 8-foot ceilings. I think that's unimaginable. Okay, staff. The staff follows a 3-person pack-up routine that ensures candles are completely extinguished, even dousing them with water. Even almost every year, one or more candles are burning the next morning. And Jenkins has photos of lighted candles at night taken by the passerby through the shop window. Perhaps Dr. Wilbur is still afraid of the dark.
Shit.
So evidently, they extinguish the candles at night, douse them with water, and in the morning they're relit.
Yeah. That's crazy. So we're just going to breeze through the honorable mentions. There's the Ashton Villa that was built in 1859 by a wealthy businessman. Reported resident ghosts are Brown's daughters, the adventurous Betty Brown, and the piano playing Tilly Brown. There's also the majestic Hotel Galvez, and they have ghost tours that you can do with tales of spooky occurrences and spirit sightings. There's also the third iteration of the elegant Tremont House, that features ghosts as well as physical vestiges of earlier incarnations, including Civil War soldier, the mischievous small boy Jimmy, and the gambler Sam murdered for his winnings. Also in Houston's Market Square La Caref Wine Bar, built in 1860, is the oldest commercial property in the city, is home to a ghost of a bartender / manager named Carl. And then also the USS Lexington, an aircraft carrier used during World War II. You can take self-guided tours of the decommissioned ship, where you just might encounter Charlie, the polite seaman in white. Seaman in white. He's a seaman in white. We made that joke so many times tonight.
Yeah.
And other ghostly sailors or a uniformed Japanese pilot. I don't think I ever went through all of my footage of the Lexington investigation, so I don't know if we got any like Japanese talking or anything, but how fucking insane would that be if we did?
Be insane.
Be super
I gotta
insane.
say what up to my boy Brent Rogers. He's an old Navy buddy of mine. He's on the chat on Facebook. What's up, Rogers?
Ricardo said the hurricane name, as I say, the names get reused unless retired. I've never heard of a Hurricane Steven. I want a Hurricane Steven.
Doesn't sound that threatening.
Shut the hell up! It's threatening.
Yeah,
It's gonna
it sounds old.
It's gonna be a
Sounds like more of a.
It's gonna be
sounds
the
like
first.
a drizzle.
It's gonna be the first Category 17 hurricane. You watch.
The Steven hurricanes go negative.
Oh,
Like, they don't even ruin anyone's day or plans.
It's just humid. It's just humid as
Yeah.
fuck outside.
It's like
humid.
early morning dew on the grass.
Yeah.
So before we get into our last topic of South Texas, which I don't know why the hell Gulf Coast and South Texas were fucking split differently, because it's literally the same.
Yeah.
Shit. Like it's all the same shit. Lexington should have been on South Texas, but
I was like, wait, isn't the Lexington in South Texas?
well, I guess,
Yeah.
I guess according to the interwebs, they it's not the same. So we're going to talk about the honorable mentions of this one first before we do the main topic, because it's going to be our last topic, and we have a lot to talk about this one. Honorable mentions are the Donkey Lady, which is a local variant of the Weeping Ghost La Llorona in San Antonio, Texas. It is said to haunt the Donkey Lady Bridge. Also, at the Alamo, you may hear ghostly whispers or see the shade of a Mexican soldier. Ay, 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 ay.
The shade.
I know yours. Yes, the shade, like the
Chicles.
like a dark apparition. I just wanted to say it cool, like the shade.
Oh.
So, also, a stay at the Emily Morgan Hotel is reputed to expose visitors to whole floors of ghostly visitations, including phantom visions of the building's past as a hospital. We encountered some pretty cool shit there at the Emily Morgan when we stayed there. We heard a phone ring out of nowhere, and it sounded like an old ass phone. It wasn't a cell phone, and it
Yeah.
wasn't at like 3 o'clock in the morning. Like it was
Mhm.
intense. And then in Goliad at the Presidio La Bahia commemorates the Goliad massacre with Spanish-speaking poltergeists, humming women, and a spooky flock of vultures. Oh,
Oh.
that sounds better than a flock of seagulls. And I ran so far away. All right. Anyways, so we will be discussing last, but definitely not least, the Yorktown Memorial Hospital, which is where we just did our investigation this past weekend. Let me read a little bit about this, and then we can talk about our experiences. From the outside, the Yorktown Memorial Hospital looks like the definition of haunted. 30,000 square feet with granite and concrete all over, overgrown bushes all around its sides. Broken windows lead into a black interior. The door is chained shut. Inside the building, a cool breeze wafts down the dark hallway. Leaves press against dusty windows, and wasps crawl along the walls. I didn't see any wasps. I saw a lot of
I
nests.
didn't,
I saw a lot of
yeah, there
nests.
was tons of nests, but I didn't
Yeah.
see any wasps.
So the Yorktown Memorial Hospital was originally built in 1950 and it was managed by the Felician Sisters of the Roman Catholic Church. The facility contains 2 main floors, a basement, 2 wings, a chapel, and an observatory tower. The hospital closed in 1986 after a new facility opened in nearby Cuero. From then on, the building operated as a drug rehab facility, but the state closed it in 1992. The building sat empty, attracting stories of terrible malpractice and lurid misbehavior. Rumor has it that hundreds of patients died there. It's also acquired a lasting reputation for ghosts. There are stories of patients killed by neglected or surgical mistake, and the ghost of the surgeon who is often held responsible. A fearsome black specter with red eyes has been reported to haunt the chapel and growl when Bible verses are read there. A former caretaker says she once saw the ghost of a young man staring out from behind the locked doors. A bullet wound with a bullet wound in his head. The spirits of the nuns residing on the second floor are said to push and scratch at men with tattoos. Yes, that shit happens, and it fucking happened. Many have experienced feelings of oppressive weight and cold spots, unseen things touching you in the dark. Just walking through the building makes you jittery, and hearing footsteps and faint moan sounds adds to the jitters. A lot of awful things went on here, the caretaker said. The place freaks me out. The vibe's not good. Once you shut those doors and you get in there, you forget there's even anything beyond the hospital. The hospital is on private property and has been a popular spot for ghost tours since the building was acquired by Joanne Marks Rivera, owner of the Black Swan Inn. Now, this one, I was I loved the fact that we got to investigate this mainly because it was on Ghost Adventures. You know what I mean? Tons of people have investigated this. I don't give a shit what other ghost group did it before we did it or whatnot. I don't care about that. We got to investigate it. We got some great evidence, legit evidence, and I mean, it's just wow. Like once we put this footage out, because we put a little bit out, but I don't think people understand the amount of things that we caught and the amount of things that occurred when we weren't live streaming, and we did not fake anything that happened that night. Everything was 100% legit, and I put that on my reputation. Like
Even before we even broke the cameras out,
Yeah.
just the initial walkthrough was insane. I mean, me and Mike both saw a shadow crossing the hallway. When I first went into the chapel for the first time, my knees buckled. I got disoriented. I was like, oh my God. I even told Mike, I'm like, man, it was insane just being in there for the first time. It was insane.
Mike?
Yeah, man, like Joe said, I mean, right when we're doing an initial walkthrough of the building, no cameras, no anything, not even flashlights. just our cell phones in our hands, getting a feel for the building. Joe and I are at one end of the hallway, and we both turn, and for whatever reason, how it happens like this sometimes, we're both looking down the same direction, the same hallway, and we both watch the light from the middle of the hallway. It's dark on this side, dark on that side. There's a light shining through the middle. You can faintly see, and we see a shadow clear as day walk from one side to the other, just pass right in front of us. And we both just stopped and stared and looked at each other. We're like, did you see that?
And we both pointed at the same time, like, dude.
And at this point, TJ and I were on the opposite end of you guys. You know what I mean? We were in a totally different area in a different room, but the door was locked. There was nobody else in there with us. So there is no possible way that somebody else walked across that hallway. The caretaker let us in, showed us how to lock the door. We locked the door and we went on our, first walkthrough of the building before we set up equipment. And man, like I just said, I can't even tell you guys the amount of things that occurred from fucking Mike got possessed. I don't give a shit what anybody says. The video proves
throwing up. Yeah, it was
something tried to fucking jump in your body, bro. Like
tried.
Ads are about no if ads about it. Well, no, I think it did for a little bit because you were out of it. We were asking you questions.
Oh yeah,
and you were just like just
dude, he was staring directly into my lens of my camera, just giving me a look like he wasn't there. Like there was no question in my mind he was not there.
And then from my angle, what I always tell people is like, or what I told y'all, I should say, like when this was going on, I remember it. I mean, I wasn't like, oh man, I don't remember it kind of shit. There are some parts that are a little bit like, I don't remember that, but it felt like I was in the back of the corner of the room staring at y'all do something. Like I wasn't part of it. Like I was just watching like, oh, okay, like this is what they're doing. And then kind of like snapping back into my body, if you will, like, oh shit, I'm here. You know what I mean? Like it was a really weird situation. And I even said that night, one of the things, and I don't know where it came from, I don't remember why, but I heard humming and I heard whistling like in my head. And I was like, that's cool. And so I remember like at one point I was humming
something. Yeah, you started humming something and I was like, what?
Yeah, you did.
Like, I backed up.
Yeah.
I backed up and I was like, this dude's about to fucking get knocked out because he's possessed. Like I'm about to hit him as hard as I can.
And I believe it or not, what kind of snapped me out of something for a second was I remember sitting there and I saw y'all. It was one of those back of the room feelings. And I heard a voice, which I didn't know at first was the Ovilus, but I heard a voice say possessed. And it's like I snapped forward and I was like, not me. I was like, not me today. Like, nah.
Yeah. And
I kept telling you, Mike, let's get up. Let's take a break. Let's get out of here. And you're just staring at me like.
I remember being physically sick. Yeah.
Dude, the Ovilus was giving us like intelligent responses like that. I mean, we've had intelligent responses, but the amount of intelligent responses that we got over the Ovilus, like that was insane. And then when we were going back and watching video and, it said, find Zach, like, dude,
oh yeah,
creepy. That creeped me the fuck out because it said, find Zach. And then what did the Ovilus say after that?
No, so Ovilus said find, and then we started.
Oh, find.
I think it was. Yeah, Joe started saying find what or find who.
Oh, yeah. It said find, and Joe said find what. And then in the background, something said find Zach. Like,
I heard it say Zach Bagans.
I just heard Zach. I didn't hear the last part where with Bagans. I just heard find Zach. But and so the whole story with that is we were looking for Zach Bagans' autograph down in the basement.
Yeah.
And so that us talking about that, you know what I mean? That is a fucking intelligence response. You know what I mean? That's not just something saying, oh, find Zach, whatever. That was like legit because we fucking were looking for Zach's signature. And then we found it like randomly out of nowhere, like in some spot that we had.
It was probably like an hour after that.
Yeah.
And then you have to remember too, that the Ovilus, before all that happened, we got two different times basement, like on the Ovilus, it said basement. And it was like, the weirdest thing about the whole basement thing was it let us down there, whatever you want to say. But we didn't get much, to be honest with you, in the basement. It was all the other areas, but
we didn't
Now,
get much that we know
thinking
of
back
yet.
though, yeah, thinking back when it was saying find Zach, but it kept saying basement, we found his name in the basement.
Yeah.
So those could have been correlated together.
yeah, definitely going back on my body cam, I caught a lot of voices when we were in the basement. One of them is clear as day. Remember that room that had the sad cell?
Oh yeah.
So in the part where we're walking towards that cell, it shows Joe, and right in the beginning of the video, you hear a lady clear as day. And when y'all hear it, because I haven't even gotten the footage to Scuba yet, but when y'all hear it, you'll be like, "What the fuck?" It literally just says, "Wait," like that, like clear as day.
Oh, damn. Okay, so I have
Sound hot?
the audio that you sent me where it says find Zach. I'm gonna try to play it on here. I don't know that it'll come out any good because I'm playing it off my phone into the microphone, but we're gonna see if you guys can hear what we heard. Here we go. So it said contact. Okay. It said find Zach. So we don't know. That wasn't any of us saying contact. I didn't hear that. I didn't hear that from the Ovulus. I didn't hear any of you say that. So that right there, that freaked me out because I was like, who the hell was that? Because the cleaned up audio of that sounds like there's another person in the room with us. You know what I mean? And it's the same verse that it's the same voice that said find Zach. You know what I mean?
The voice
Maybe they
is
want
like,
us to contact Zach.
maybe they want me to call him.
I'll
But
call him.
yeah, give him a call, Joe.
If you're watching this, Zach Bagans, give us a call. We have a message from a ghost.
But you know, the weirdest thing about that whole voice was, one, like Scuba said, it was the same voice that wasn't ours. But even stranger than that, about voices, some people could say, well, maybe that was Joe, or maybe that was TJ, and y'all just don't remember. Inside of the hospital, there were several occasions where we heard each other's voice and we heard each other talking, but we were not talking.
We were not talking. I was sitting there messing with my camera, and I don't even know. I was zoned out. Like I was working on my camera, trying to get all my pieces back together and stuff. And I don't know. Joe said something to me or whatever. And I was like, "What? What are you talking about?" Like, whoa! I didn't fucking say anything.
Well, that's because TJ and Mike were okay. I was here. TJ and Mike were over here on the couch, and you were on a chair next to me over here.
Yeah.
And they're talking, and all of a sudden, like I'm looking in your direction. And you go, yeah. And I'm like, I look over, like, who are you talking to? And you looked at me like I was stupid. Like, dude, I haven't even said anything. I'm like, yes, you did. And then Mike was like, yeah, I thought you guys were having a conversation.
Yeah. And then another point, Joe was like, I'm gonna go outside and I don't know, get something from the van or something like that. And he walks outside. So it's me, Steve, TJ. We're inside the little waiting area. And I hear Joe plain as day talking to someone. And I thought maybe somebody walked up and was checking out the hospital. So I'm kind of keeping an ear out because the place is known for trespassers and stuff. So I'm kind of keeping an ear out. Next thing I know, Joe's walking back in the building and I'm like, hey, who are you talking to? And he was like, nobody. I put that on anything. I heard his voice talking to someone in the outside the door.
Well, dude, when you and Joe went on the outside perimeter of the building, to go check the other side of the building.
Oh, around the back, yeah.
I went outside to go pee. I had to pee. You know what I mean? And while I'm standing there taking a piss, I hear rustling in the tall ass grass right there by the fence, and I'm like, whoa, what the fuck? And I'm right there in front of the car. You know what I mean? So I'm not like a ways off or anything. And I hear like if somebody's walking through the grass, and I thought it was one of you guys. And I was like, hey, you fuckers, how did y'all get in there? And I didn't get no response. And the walking kept coming and getting closer, getting closer, getting closer. And finally I was like, hey, TJ, come check this out. And TJ walks out with his camera and he's like, what's up? And I was like, dude, it stopped. Like it fucking stopped as soon as you came out. I was like, but it sounded like somebody was walking towards me. And you could hear the footsteps. Like, you know how when somebody walks through tall grass or when you're walking through tall grass, how you can hear your footsteps. That's what it fucking sounded like. But I didn't have my camera or anything on me. But that happened, and I called TJ. I was like, dude, bring your camera. Like, fucking check it out. Somebody's fucking over here. And there was nobody there. I mean, and Mike got scratched on his face. I got fucking scratched on my face. And dude, I didn't even know how fucking bad my scratch looked until
it was red.
Dude, when I saw the video, I was like, what the fuck? Like,
it was like melted up. Like,
yeah, it fucking hurt, dude. And Mike
like,
had
yours was small, but yeah, Mike's was like,
yeah,
all the way down his face.
Yeah.
And I was recording Scuba reading from the scripture at that point. And the craziest thing about that is, like, Scuba's reading the scripture, and I'm like thinking of another area I want to go explore already. Like, in my head, I'm like, okay, blah, blah, blah. And it felt like somebody came up and just pinched my cheek, like, really quick. And it was hard enough to where I was like, hold on, like, stop. You know what I mean? Like, I made Scuba stop reading, and I was like, damn, like, that hurt. And it was literally, I felt that. Y'all came over, saw I was scratched. I started immediately feeling like sick, like I was gonna vomit. And I didn't know what was going on. I was just like, man, I don't feel good. It was weird.
Well, we could talk about Yorktown for fucking another hour.
Ever.
Because like I said, up to date, this is probably the most activity we've gotten at an investigation. And I love the fact that it was just us, and we had free reign of the hotel for 12 hours, and we were able to get a great investigation in. And and I'm ready for the next one. You know what I mean? I don't know what
I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind doing Yorktown again, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
In the future, like that's a great place.
Yeah,
definitely. And then I just want to bring something up real quick, because we do these investigations because we like to. Yeah. We share it with everyone else because we want to share and see. I mean, make your own opinions is what I'm getting at. Yeah. But if you don't believe what we're doing, or if you don't believe what happened, or what we tell you happened, or when we show you a picture of one of us getting scratched and people laugh and think it's not true, I fully invite you to, one, go for yourself and go check out that kind of stuff. Because there's, it's like watching Ghost Adventures. You can, whatever, all day long at something that you're not currently doing. But one, we're not asking you to believe it. We're just presenting the evidence to you, and you make your own suggestions from there. But it is because it's what we like to do. So,
yeah, and I do get people like that too that are like, oh no, blah, blah, blah. You know what? That's fine. Like Mike said, that's fine. But go do it yourself. You know what I mean? And if you have done it yourself and you didn't get any reaction from it, hey, then I mean, it happens, because like I said, we don't always get evidence of going on. So sometimes you're lucky, sometimes you're not. So, but with that, we have gone. This is probably the longest episode ever of Somewhat Supernatural. So, fellas, once again, I want to thank you for jumping on. I hope you will join me next time for our next episode. If you would like, you're more than welcome to hop on whenever. Before we go, I just want to leave you guys with a little quote that Arthur C. Clarke once wrote. It says, there stand 30 ghosts, for that is the ratio by which the dead outnumber the living. So think about that. I'll see you guys later. Stay spooky.